Alright, so this is going to be part 2 of the EVE Online. So hopefully how to simplify EVE, how to make it not so complicated, right? I'm sure people have always played EVE Online before and they see all these spreadsheets and then all the complicated screens and all the inventory and the market and all the complicated windows, but we're going to avoid those. You're not going to get lost. Basically, we wanted to go through the tutorial and show you the tutorial. It's basically going to send you flying to a few pockets in space and then destroying some enemies. And then maybe upgrading your guns and upgrading your ship a little bit. And then you do one final battle, and then she will send you through stargates, jumping like four jumps away, I think. So we did 4 stargate jumps. And then we just arrived, so this is just after the tutorial. So we made this character just so we could see it from the ground up, how the game would be if you just started a brand new character. So she'd tell you to jump over here, and then you would be in this station. Congratulations, you have navigated to the agent successfully. Now you should make contact. So maybe the tutorial will change later because maybe they'll change something in the game, but you could drag this and move it if you want to. So we're not going to talk to the career agents right now. We're going to go over some things first. So the character sheet, your character skills. What do you train in your character skills? How do you train them? There's so many skills, right? Alright, so the skill tree, it's not as complicated as it seems, right? So anytime you want to activate your character skills, you just go to the right here, click on character sheet. And then the window will pop up, and then here's all of your skills. So there's other windows here, right? Character, interaction, pilot services. We won't worry about those for now. For now, just make sure you're on skills, the left one. So we just made this character. During the tutorial, she's going to tell you to go to Gunnery. Then you scroll down, and she's going to tell you to train surgical strike. So that's alright, I guess. It gives you a good recommendation for something to train, although that's probably not a really good recommendation. So surgical strike won't really do that. It doesn't really unlock anything. It'll take 33 minutes. So the difference between a free-to-play and a member's account will be the training speed. So members, if you spend the $15 a month, or if you get enough plex to get members, so you could play completely free if you were able to get enough ISK to pay for members, right? It's like a lot of the other games. You could play the game and then you could earn currency inside the game, and then you could buy membership and then give your currency to somebody else. So basically the game developers are the middlemen. They sell gold to the players and you get a free membership for a month. So then the skills, we're just going to go over those quickly. So Gunnery, we weren't going to worry about those. We were going to start from the left, right from the left, and we were going to go down through these skills and then add some things to our tree. And then basically membership, right? We already said it would double your training speed. So if it says it would take 52 minutes, it would take you pretty much like an hour and 40 minutes, or like 2 hours. If we had like this on the queue and it said it would take 21 hours, it would take you 44 hours. If we had this on the queue, it would take a member 5 days to train. It would take a free player 10 days to train. So that's pretty much one of the main reasons to get membership. Even if you do get membership for 1 month or for the 3-month package like we did, just because you save a little bit, it brings it down from $15 down to like $13. Then you just pay for 3 months ahead of time, and then you don't have to worry about membership for 3 months. So even if you just get it for 1 month. But let's stop talking about that. Let's move on to these skills for now. So we just finished saying that membership, they get a 2 times training speed compared to free. Usually that would take you 10 days to train what we had on there. So in Spaceship Command, the very first thing you would want to do is train up your spaceships, right? If you are Amar, you'd want to train up your Amar frigates. If you're Galante, you'd want to train up your Galante frigates. Or if you're Minotaur, you'd want to train up your Minotaur frigates. Yeah, it's right over here. So we chose the Caldari race just because the Caldari race is right beside Jeddah, the main trade hub of the game. So you're going to be able to find absolutely everything there pretty much all the time. It'd be the place where you'd be able to sell your things the fastest and where you could buy everything the fastest. So in Spaceship Command, that would where we would recommend you first training things. So you go to Caldari Frigate. It would be at level 1, then we would add a Caldari Frigate. So let's just say at the tutorial she would tell you to train this. Instead, we go to Spaceship Command, we put the Caldari Frigate onto the training queue. So we just drag it down here, and then it adds it to the queue. And then Surgical Strike could be 30 minutes or 1 hour depending. Doesn't really matter, because if you're just getting into the game, you might even like leave. Because think about that, if you leave for 1 day, all of your skills will be trained basically, and then you could just put new skills on. So after you train Caldari Frigate level 2, it'll show you the different things that it unlocks. So you'll be able to pilot these things, the Caldari Navy Hook Bell. So we won't look too much into them, but basically it'll show you the different traits of the ship. 25% bonus to light missiles and rocket damage, bonus to light missile and rocket damage, so a bunch of different elemental damages, then bonus to max velocity. So all the different ships will give different stats, right? If we go to the Griffy Naven issue, it'll have different stats. Bonus to small hybrid turret damage, ECM target jammer, ECM target jammer. So this one uses more of a small hybrid turrets and ECM target jammers on this ship. And each ship will have its own capabilities. So if we were to trade Caldari Frigate up to level 3, if we were to put that onto our queue, that would take like 7 hours. So it doesn't even take that long to train up your ships. And then if we go here, we'll say skills unlocked. It'll show you a book by the picture on the skill. So if you click on information, requirements, Spaceship Command, so you start the game with this trained. We already have it trained. And then Caldari Frigate. In order to train Caldari Destroyers, you need to train Caldari Frigate 3. So that'll take 7 hours and 40 minutes or 15 hours. So then you just drag that onto there like we just did. So now we are training those. So now how do you get the Caldari Destroyer? You have to buy the book. So skill at operating Caldari Destroyers. And then basically we already went through this, but we'll go through it again quickly. All of these skill books on the trading post, all of these skill books, they're all sold by vendors by the game. So basically all of these are not actually sold by players. So if you're going to Spaceship Command, if you were in the Amar area, you'd find all of your Amar blueprints, but we are pretty close to an Amar area actually. They do sell the blueprints here, so you'd be able to find most of the blueprints for all of these ships. So these would be at the station, so these will always be here, and the price will never change as long as you were in the area where they can sell them. So we're going to be looking for Caldari, so we went to Caldari Destroyer, and then it'll always be 100,000. You'll always be able to find them. It'll always be this price. So we had 160,000 after completing the tutorial, and then we just double click on the book, and then we just bought one. So you buy one for 100,000 ISK, and then it would go to your inventory. And then actually, since we learned it, you would right click it and click inject the skill, and then your book would be added to here. Because usually it would be grayed out like this because you have not read the book yet, but after you read the book, you'll be able to train Caldari Destroyer. So if you try to drag it onto your training queue, you will not be able to drag it to the top because you have not trained it. You have not trained the frigate yet. But actually, if you drag it below it, you can, because the game knows that you will have trained this by this point. So you can add the other skills to the queue after you have added the prerequisites. Pretty good like that. In the Caldari Destroyer, it'll show you the ships you unlock when you learn this skill. Characteristics: small hybrid turret. So this ship would use small hybrid turrets. And in the Corax, it would use light missiles and rockets. So you'd have 2 types of different weapons for those ships. Then if you train Caldari Destroyer to level 2, and then if you were to put Caldari Destroyer to level 3, so that only takes 16 hours, or it'd be 30 on free to play. But skills unlocked: Caldari Cruiser, skill operating Caldari Cruisers. So the requirements: Caldari Destroyer. So you would need to train the frigate and Caldari Destroyer both to level 3, and that's exactly what we're doing. So if you were to buy the book, you actually wouldn't be able to, because it costs 1 million credits, and you only have 60,000 credits at this point, so you're going to have to train those later. But there is a lot of other things to trade, but for now we have all of the ships put on there, so now we could train other things to level 3. Basically, at the beginning you just want to try to train everything up to level 3. So the Caldari industry, you could train that up to level 3. Then you could maybe even put the Caldari mining frigate maybe before the industry. So another thing about members too, like free to play, you could add a one day of queue to the training queue here, and then that's pretty much it. But if it's a member, you could train 60 days or 90 days or something. You could put a whole lot more things on the training queue. That doesn't really make a difference if you're checking back every single day too. Basically, we got the Caldari Industry Training 2-3, and then the Mining Frigate 2-3, and then the Spaceship Command 2-3. So Spaceship Command will unlock more bigger ships later, but that's a bit more down the line. So now let's move on to navigation. So let's move down to the second part of the skill tree. Alright, so now the second part. So this part shouldn't be as long. It was just the Spaceship Command took so long because it was explaining all the different ship types and how they upgrade and how you need to get level 3 to be able to pilot the bigger ships. So the evasive maneuvering. So we'll just go down to navigation, right? You can learn evasive maneuvering as soon as you start the account. So that'll take 1 hour. 1 or 2 hours. And then evasive maneuvering, might as well just level it to level 3. So improved skill at efficiency, turning and accelerating a spaceship. 5% improved ship agility for all ships per skill level. So we just train that to level 3, just because level 3 trains up so quickly. Once you go past level 3, then the training time goes up considerably. So skill using micro warp drives, 5% reduction in micro warp drive capacitor usage per level. So it'll only take 3 hours to train, right? So you might as well just throw that on there. Or actually, we don't even need that, right? Yeah, we'll just take off things we don't need. Evasive maneuvering will help you. It won't take too long. Warp drive, skill at managing warp drive, 10% reduction, so that won't help you too much. Afterburner, 5% reduction. So that'll take 40 hours if you're free. If you're not free, that's not too bad, but so those things aren't really too important. So down to engineering. CPU management, those things take a long time to train. Energy grid upgrades, there's one, it's level 1, so you could add that to the queue. Looks like a really quick training one, so energy grid upgrades is probably really good. Skill at installing power upgrades, capacitor battery and power diagnostics units, 5% reduction in CPU needs of modules requiring energy grid upgrades. So you might as well trade it. If it just says 7 hours, then just add it to the bottom of the queue. Or if your other stuff's done training, then just add these. So weapon upgrades, knowledge of gunnery computer systems, including the use of weapon upgrades modules, 5% reduction per skill in the CPU needs of weapon turrets, launchers, and smart bombs. So that one's really good. It means you'll be able to equip more launchers and smart bombs. Well, I mean, when you're equipping weapons on your ship, right? If we were to go to the right here, if we go to fitting, so won't go too much into the fitting, but just to say the CPU requirement, CPU 138. So your guns, if you go to information, attributes, or maybe it's fitting, CPU usage 12.6, power grid usage 7.0. So then what this skill would do is 5% reduction in CPU needs of weapon turrets. So that'd be really good. You'd be able to equip more things on your ship. So we won't go into that too far right now. So we'll just say weapon turret upgrades, upgrade that one. And then armor, you'd be able to do hull upgrades. So grants a 5% bonus to armor hit points per level. Only takes 7 hours, 7 or 14. So then the mechanics, skill at maintaining 5% bonus to structured hit points. So you're also unlocking other things as you're learning these, right? Energy upgrades, if we go up here, once you get to level 2, you'll be able to equip all of these things onto your ships. There's a whole bunch of different things that unlock as soon as you learn energy upgrades level 2. Basically, not the ones with the green things, those are more more complicated ones. Basically the ones like these, you might use them for something. And then energy grid upgrades. So there's a couple more things you'll be able to use. And weapon upgrades, so hull upgrades. Upgraded energy armor layering membrane. Just gonna give you a whole bunch of different hull upgrades. I believe you get expanded cargo holds, right? The list is way too long for items. No, it's just all blue. Alright, well, you have all of that unlocked, and then the mechanics, you'll be able to, you get a whole bunch of new skills once you get mechanics level 3. You could learn jury rigging, salvaging, armor layering, remote hull repair system. So salvaging would be something good to get. Well, it's not really good until later in the game, but you might as well get it for now. So requirements, mechanics level 3, so you need to train mechanics up to level 3 first. And then you could get a better salvager. That's pretty much everything for armor. And then shields, tactical shield manipulation. So you don't really need those. Maybe shield management, 5% bonus, because it would unlock better shields, right? So shield management 3 is a good one to get. And then shield upgrades. I believe shield upgrades unlock some items. Yeah, shield upgrades 3. So small shield extender 2. So that's going to be a really good upgrade then. Small shield extender 2. Tactical shield, don't really need that for anything yet. Targeting, long range targeting, you might as well get that 5% bonus to targeting range. So your targeting range is usually 30 kilometers, and if you keep increasing it, I think you could increase it with modules as well, but basically you're going to be able to lock onto things sooner. So that's going to really help out target management. Allows you to target up to 1 additional target, so you could upgrade this, and then I believe there's a better one as well. So you can target like up to 10 targets at once. It's not really mandatory, and it takes a while to train. Signature operating targeting systems, 5% improved targeting speed, so it doesn't take too long to train, so you could add that then. And then the gunnery, so we're not sure what type of weapons we're using. Well, we're Kadari, so we're going to be using missile weapons, so we're just going to be using a whole bunch of missile training, so we're not going to do gunnery. We're going to go to missiles, go to missile launcher operation. So we could actually put these, well, I guess all of them are good. We could put them before everything else, right? You scroll up, then Kadari industrial, so maybe missile launcher operation would be, well, I don't know. We'll just add them to the queue. Pretty much missile launcher operation is a really good thing to get. We'll let all of those things train missile launcher operation 3. If we need something sooner, we could always move it up in the queue. So missile launcher operation skills unlocked. So you learn all of your missile skills through learning missile launcher operation. Once you learn 3, you'll learn even more skills. So if we're going with missiles, we'd want to train missile launcher operation to level 3. And then drones, we're not going to really deal with drones too much yet. Then electronic systems, propulsion jamming, and electronic warfare. So you don't need any of those things yet. Scanning, archaeology, hacking. So eventually we will get into these things, but for now we won't get into these things just yet. And then rigging, jury rigging, you can't train anything. Social, nothing's gonna really help you too much. Maybe social would help you, but let's see how much the book is. So you're just gonna need 30,000 ISK. Alright, perfect. So you can actually train it. We have 60,000 ISK. We could just buy it at the station, right? It's always gonna be 30,000, so you just buy one of them at the station. So this is good. We can record actually injecting the book. Yeah, so then now you would just go to your inventory, right? So it's just this block here on the left hand side. You would click on it, inventory, then you go to your item hanger, and then you would have a book. This is how you learn all of your skills in the game. So you just right click on the book and click inject spell skill. This is the one that you just bought. So now social would be a good one to get, because what social does is a 5% bonus per level 2 NPC agent corporation and faction standing increase. So that would be something we would want to train earlier. So we'd want to train these ships, but then social would be one of the most important things. So we could start training social. Because consider that you're not going to be able to fly a different ship until tomorrow, right? Today, you're not going to be able to fly a better ship. Tomorrow, you will be able to fly a destroyer. Today, you should focus on these for now. Just get social 1 and 2 and then 3. That should be good for now. And you can train social later because it is required for other things, right? As you're training social, implants and boosters, that's not too important right now, but skills unlocked, negotiation, contracting, you're gonna want those later. Diplomacy, you're gonna want that later. Social, connections and criminal connections, you're gonna want those later, so train up social right now. And then once social is done, then you could actually train these other things, but that's good for now. Fleet support, you don't need fleet support. Corporation management, you don't need corporation management. Trade, you don't really need trade right now. And then neural enhancement, you don't really need neural enhancement. Production, you could do production. So industry would be something also to get probably before your ship upgrades, right? So industry, 4% reduction in manufacturing time, plus it unlocks other skills. Upgrading industry to level 2 gives you advanced small ship construction. So this is when you're eventually going to be producing your own ships. Eventually you're going to need this, so you might as well get a little bit of industry up now. Industry up to level 3. I think industry 3 unlocks things. So blueprints and reactions. So once you get to industry level 3, you'll be able to use these blueprints. Then mass production, advanced industry, mining connections. So those are good to get later, but for now, industry level 3 is good. And then in science, probably science, we don't really need to upgrade science right now. Resource processing, probably mining and salvaging. Salvaging will take quite a while, and mining. So you could, here on any of your skills, you could also right click it, and then show info. Then it'll show required for, so you can actually look at all these skills and see what it unlocks to this way. So you look at mining, level 1, it unlocks all of the ship equipment, so you start with level 1, I believe. Level 2 you start with, so you could actually get mining drones in the game, mining drone operation. So we'll look at mining drones later. And then 3 mining upgrades, so you probably want to get mining upgrades at some point. But level 4 allows you to get a miner level 2, then mining drone level 2, and then you could learn some other skills about mining. So considering it doesn't really take too long, right? Mining level 4 would just take 20 or 40 hours. You could maybe add it after the frigate or destroyer, mining frigate. So depending if you wanted to mine now or later, it would be worth it to get it. Then you'd have to make those things too, so then industry is a good thing to get, right? So we're trying to not make it complicated, but I think it already is complicated. Mining would be something you'd want at the end. You don't really want to worry about mining too much. You want to get your other things, so mining would go near the end with the other things. Once you get mining 4 unlocked, you'll be able to make the miner 2, and then you'll be able to unlock those skills. And salvaging, you don't really need salvaging too much. And planet management, don't worry about planet management right now. Structure management, don't worry about that. So there we go, there's all these skills. I think we took a little bit longer than we were supposed to, but we did go through all the skills and talk about them. Basically, we seen which skills you might want to add to your training queue, and we got 5 days and 20 hours added to the queue, so pretty much 6 days. Yeah. And the difference between free-to-play and members is it would say 10 days and 40 hours. Something like that. So like 11 and a half hours. It's basically a good reason to get members. So then there, now for things are trading. Now let's do another video about something. We tried to do these scales as simple as possible and explain them without looking at other things. But now, what'll the next video be? Probably industry. Yeah, we'll do the career agent in the next one. So next one will be industry.